Welcome back to the Gfinity Champion of Champions. My name is Lycan. With me, I have Richard Lewis and Thorne. We just came off Game 3 of Fnatic versus NiP. NiP is now down 1-2, guys. Let's talk about this game. First off, NiP started off pretty strong. They took a really definitive CT side victory, it seems, and then things fell apart. What happened?
Well, this has been, so far it's played out like I thought it would. I said it was going to be a 16-12, a 16-13 game. I felt it was going to be close. I couldn't really call it. There was definitely some rounds where I felt, things could have gone differently for NiP. They had a good CT showing, but then once they got into that T half, they really didn't seem to be able to execute quite as well. But we know that Fnatic, when they want to, they're so capable of CT lockouts. And on that map in particular, they can make it very hard. The way that Flusher plays on that B site. It's very difficult to get on there, and if you do, he usually takes one or two down with him. I actually thought JW was a little bit underwhelming in that mid area. He didn't really seem to need to do a lot for them to sort of get that comeback rolling, and that was something we highlighted right at the top of the show, that Fnatic, they don't need all of their star players to show up, and they can still beat teams. So really, obviously disappointing for NiP. They're up against it now, and they go into a map which, of course, I think Fnatic has like a 70-80% win rate on it. So it was one of the maps that Fnatic kind of built their name on. So very, very difficult task ahead. But just, again, thinking back to Mirage, NiP will be disappointed. They were in that game. They a few more rounds, and obviously they get over that finish line.
Yeah, the two that they had the best chances on was Dust 2 and Mirage. They got Dust 2, but narrowly. This time they lose narrowly. You can see the problems NiP faces when they play against Fnatic here. Like I said, the CT side was going to be so crucial for NiP. They really need to get a lot of rounds. Early on, yeah, they were getting them all. They were up by a big enough margin. You thought, okay, they've got a chance to get a real lockdown here. But actually, in the end, Fnatic ground enough back that 9-6 wasn't really that great, actually, because you were going to have to get 7 T rounds, which is going to be very difficult. For a while, it looked like they were going to do it on T side, but all you saw was it was only going to take one key round, and once Fnatic got rolling on CT, 12 rounds may as well have been a mile away at that point in time. Getting 4 within the last sort of 7 or 8 was going to be a really hard task, and NiP were not up to it, unfortunately. Even when things went their way every now and then, they were too far away. This is where, as a T-side team, you've got to be able to grind like 3 or 4 rounds. Like, okay, we've got 5-6 rounds left. Can we get 3 or 4? And in NiP's case, they couldn't. And that inability to meant, okay, yeah, you can say, hey, if this one round on CT went better, we'd have been 11 or 12 rounds. Like, well, yeah, you've got to be even-handed with that. Okay, well, then Fnatic have a situation where they might have got an extra round. So I think the map played out pretty fairly for both teams. I think it was a reasonable example there. Fnatic wasn't by any means exceptional on the map. They just did what they needed to, and they got over the finish line just comfortably enough that, hey, they're 2-1 up in the series now.
One thing I saw is that they kind of didn't seem to use JW in the mid too often. They seemed to actually avoid any kind of sort of mid play. Do you think that was intentional? They knew that NiP would be studying, trying to cripple where they're really strong. Do you think they intentionally avoided that? Yeah,
I think it's certainly intentional, but I wouldn't want to speculate as to the reasons. I definitely don't think it's because they're necessarily afraid of taking on those kind of duels. JW isn't afraid of anyone in the game. He'll always play his style and play aggressively. This was obviously something they did tactically. I think it makes sense within the context of the series to maybe be a bit more passive and to not risk giving that extra man advantage on a map that does have a slight CT bias, only slight. It's a very balanced map in that sense. But I think Fnatic made the right call there. There was no need to go head-to-head, play aggressive, go and try and force the issue. All you have to do is sort of let NiP do those executes when they're in that position. And as you saw, NiP were really struggling. I don't know if it was a direct result. They couldn't quite read the setup. But every time they were getting onto sites, bodies were just dropping left, right, and center. It was incredibly difficult for them to make anything stick.
I mean, that's it. That map, for me, it just shows why Fnatic's so dangerous. Aside from Cobblestone, they haven't looked in superlative form. They don't look like some super dominant team. They did on that Cobblestone game because it's such a mismatch. It's not a map NiP play anyway. But you see Mirage here. I mean, statistically, over the last sort of 4 or 5 months, since May, basically, Fnatic's now won 13 out of the 18 games they played on Mirage, and it's only ranked as their 5th best map. So when you've got a 70% plus win rate on your 5th best map, you can see what an incredibly deep map pool you have and how hard it is to beat you anywhere at that point in time. It's not just like only on Fnatic's picks, because remember, that was NiP's pick. So it's not like Fnatic has to hold serve on theirs and then hope they can get one. They're getting chances on NiP's pick of Dust 2, now a Mirage. Now NiP has to go over to Fnatic's pick, get a win there just to keep the series alive. Otherwise, it's going to be Fnatic into the final.
And it's got to be said, and this will segue nicely into talking about Inferno. One player that's missing, of course, on Mirage there was Freiburg. And when you're playing on that T side, it's really important for your entry fragger to be showing up. And, you know, we always keep it real on a Gfinity desk. I never like, you know, criticizing players. It's never enjoyable. But he simply wasn't up to the standard. And, of course, there's this worrying trend at the moment where we're talking about, you know, oh, this team's going to get broke up and Get Right's going to go here and Forrest is going to stay and all these players are going to move around. And nobody's even talking about Freiburg right now. So I said right at the top of the show, he's got to have a big performance. He's got to show up. He's got to do something. He didn't do it on Mirage. Now, what's good for him is you're going into Inferno. This is traditionally a map, you know, we all know the memes, okay, the King of Banana, we all know about it. This is a map where traditionally has had an impact, and he's going to need to have one because Fnatic is so good on that CT side. But so far, it kind of feels like NiP aren't playing to their strength, to their full capacity, and they needed everyone to turn up to have any chance of winning this series.
I think this last map is going to be where the series ends. Like, it's not as though Inferno is a bad map. I mean, it's statistically actually NiP's best map over the last few months, even though it's not amazingly one that they even picked in this series. But what's funny is Fnatic's gone away from it a bit because they've gone towards that meta of Cobblestone. They're playing a lot of Dust 2 recently. They've gone away from this as their like go-to, always pick this map. But the stats are still unreal for them. I mean, in the last 10 times they've played it, they've won 8 of them. And the 2 losses they had, one was an overtime to Hellraisers, and the other one was a loss to TSM, who are an absolutely phenomenal team on the map as well. So this isn't a map that they lose when they play against teams like NiP. I don't think NiP's going to be able to do it. They haven't really shown as much so far. It's been competitive on their maps. Over on Fnatic's map on Cobblestone, it wasn't at all. I think they can get rounds, but this is going to be a strong Fnatic win, I think, and it's just going to end the series 3-1.
Duncan taps into a point that I wanted to bring up, and that is that NiP have been much improved on this map lately. It's a map where they've been able to, you know, get results, get rounds, be competitive with the top teams in the world. But again, this is Fnatic on their home map. This is as close to a home map as any team has ever really had, sort of in this modern era of CSGO. The win rate is truly phenomenal, and I just don't really see what NiP have in their arsenal. I think they can make it competitive. I think they can make it respectful, but I just can't lean towards them being able to win.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that what can make this a close map as well is that you do have that thing going on for Fnatic where it's like, listen, if it goes to Train, we're probably favourites on that too. Like, it's not like Fnatic aren't the ones facing elimination, essentially. If you're NiP, even if you were in any way rattled during any of the close rounds in the first 3 maps that we played, there's not really any point at this point being concerned anymore. Like, you're going to be out of the tournament after this map anyway. Just play free, play loose. I mean, I'm not sure which side they'll actually start on them, but if they can start on T side, just go all out, try and get it, and then try and snowball the CT side. I think it's going to be very difficult, though. I mean, we've seen that. Remember, it was the series they played against TSM in Dubai, where in theory everything was going great. Get Right was playing absolutely amazing CS again. He was really carrying. They won Dust 2. It was like, wow, we got the win on Dust 2. Inferno, Mirage, those were the 2 ones that let them down. They lost on them. I think it's going to be a similar story here in this semi-final.
Yeah, and let's be real. If you're a fan of NiP, take a good look, because I don't think you're going to see them after this event. So, you know.
They'll be alive, Rich.
Yeah, obviously. I don't mean like that, Duncan.
Okay. All right, one last thought. You were pretty close last game. You called it 16-12, 16-13. You pretty much hit the nail on the head. Give me your numbers for this one.
Just because of the inherent bias in the map, this is a map that you're going to post rounds on, but I can honestly see this being like 16-10, something like that. To Fnatic, obviously, it's side-dependent, but I think it's going to be there or thereabouts in that ballpark.
Yeah, I'll go 16-9 Fnatic.
All right, we'll see. Well, that's it for us, guys. Going now to your caster desk. Guys, take it away.
Thank you very much indeed. Yes, guys, at the analyst desk, going through everything in depth as always and giving us a good insight as to what we can expect and what we've seen so far. So on to Inferno we go. The teams are just getting ready and into the server for us to start here. And again, as always, let's talk about maps. Let's talk about Inferno as a map itself. What are your thoughts on it?
I like it when CTs play very aggressive, you know, smoke the bottom of Banana from CT spawn, push all the way down, and don't even give the terrorists access to Banana in the first place. Yep. Then the only way that they can get to B is through Arch. And what it allows us to do is put one person at Tree or at the bottom of Banana to hold that area and rotate the extra man over towards the larger bomb site, which makes it very tough for the terrorists to infiltrate. But what
Yeah.
we find is different teams in CSGO have their own ways of holding Inferno, and we're just going to have to wait and see whether NiP genuinely have anything up their sleeves.
I mean, I know it's against a completely different opposition, but just as a kind of, a point of navigation to look at on that CT side for NiP, we saw them do that aggressive stance on Banana so well against Renegades at the recent major in Cologne, where they were just pushed down Freiburg in that tree position, as you say, just by the log.
Holding it against Envious.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And again, yeah, even at Envious, exactly, as well. And so they have done it, and they have got a tendency to do that. And Freiburg, in my opinion, as the analyst desk is saying, has actually been a little quiet so far in this series for me. I mean, it's, knowing Freiburg's kind of how Freiburg plays on this map and how famous he is for playing on this map, he's going to be one of the crucial players for me, I have to say, especially, of course, on that Banana area.
Yeah, well, we all know about the Freiburg get-right combo at Banana. Once upon a time, very, very tough to infiltrate. Maybe that doesn't apply nowadays, but it does seem like NiP are going to at least win the knife round, so they'll probably opt to start on the slightly more favoured CT side, which surely has got to be a positive thing for them, right?
Crim's trolling for a second. They're running away to try and get some one-on-one engagements, maybe. But eventually, NiP will reign the victors in the knife round. And let's see what they decide to do. Are they going to switch or are they going to stay? And there we go. They do switch. So they are going on to that CT side. But again, Carnite now, it's backs up against the wall for Ninjas in Pyjamas here. I personally said, and I will repeat it here, that I thought NiP needed to take Mirage to take this series. They didn't take it, and now we find ourselves on Inferno. NiP are a good team on this map. They can do damage on it, but Fnatic can do even more damage, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. Fnatic, we all know how strong they are in Inferno. I mean, I want to ask you for a prediction, but
I mean, I'm going to go kind of around the same scoreline that the guys were saying on the desk, and that's not because they said it. I was trying to think to myself, what kind of a score could this be? Maybe a 16-10, 16-12, maybe around that area. But even if we see NiP, stake a good, strong start on this CT side here, as soon as we saw Fnatic on their CT hold on Mirage, they can shut it down quickly, so you can never count any of these teams out, I guess. But positivity, let's hope we go to map number 5, because I would certainly love to see Train. And here we go, Kyanite. Fnatic on the T, Ninjas in Pyjamas on the CT. Unfortunately, the logos are actually in the wrong position, but let's see what we can do. Exist with 2 fine frags to start things off.
yeah, so close to getting the triple as well, but it's just not meant to be. 3-on-3, Get Right has rotated over from the B bomb site to help his comrade still alive towards A. And here he is. He's going to get that headshot through the smoke. And this is a lovely play from the Ninjas. Alu, here's a bomb going down as Get Right and co stampede straight towards this bomb site. JW in pit is going to be so difficult to deal with. He is going to pull out the Zeus, but the defuse begins, and surely NiP will not lose this round. And there it is. Bomb has been defused, thanks to Get Right, and NiP have a 1-0 lead on the CT side.
Those 2 frags on Arch from Exist were really one of the crucial things in that round overall there, because Fnatic really got their running boots on and got aggressive over towards that area. And let's not forget that they'd actually found that opening frag, I believe, over towards the B-bomb site. Potentially, or still, they'd found an opening frag, so they had that man advantage, but they weren't able to capitalize off it with Exist with those 2 quick 1 USP shot to the face of those Fnatic players. So pistol round coming in here for Fnatic, obviously just that eco. NiP buying up. And let's hope they can convert these 2 rounds. Fnatic hoping for a bomb plant at most. Maybe they could do more damage. Alu now in that Arch position will pick up 2, but Crimson Flusher are chiming in themselves.
Yeah, Forest is just going to pop off the face of Crims, but it is 2 versus 2, so it's important that Freiburg manages to get this wall bang, and he does. And now Flusher, no armor, only a P90. He's going to make his way in towards Apps, and he's trying to pick up this bomb, of course. Do you reckon he can do this? I think it's going to be very, very tough.
Well, with his performance on Mirage, you can never count him out of anything, but I agree, it is going to be very, very tough indeed. He hasn't got armor, he's not got any grenades to work with as well, and he certainly has not got the bomb. NiP in full control here, so he's just trying to scope out any players, check all of the corners in pit, and if I was him, I really would just stay here and save this weapon, to be quite honest with you. In this situation, it's very unlikely that you're going to be able to do too much. They found him here. Forest is tagged low, so they really don't want to, overcommit to the situation here now, NiP, and Fnatic have already dealt enough damage in this eco round.
Yeah, searching for him, and they will find him, will NiP. Just about. Forest with the kill, and Fnatic, thanks to planting down on the pistol round. The AKs are finally in their hands. Do you reckon they can win this first potential gun round?
Maybe so, you never know. And this is the thing, I think they certainly can, because they didn't buy up pretty much whatsoever in that round, in that second round just there. And we only saw 2 NiP players managing to survive it because of the great pistol work from Fnatic. So if they can convert the great pistol work into great rifle work, which we all know they can do, you never quite know. And again, that banana area now, always keep a watch out for that on how both teams are playing banana. We've got that lurk roll of Flusher just steadying himself over towards there whilst the rest of the Fnatic players make their way through apartments.
Yeah, if NiP were to pop flash each other down, though, they'd be able to potentially kill off Flusher and realize that the rest of banana is empty and figure out that this is going to be an A push being prepared from Fnatic. 3 players, no 2 players heading towards Boiler, 1 person towards upper apps, and I think it's only a matter of seconds, Chewy, until it comes in.
No frags as of yet, 50 seconds on the clock. Alu holding arch once again. He just saw the leg peek there of JW, fires a couple of shots, a bit trigger happy there, and he's going to have to back off. And I like this decision from Alu, not holding that same angle still, but heading over towards Library to get a different observation point.
Existing pit. Forest just stood on top of the balcony, and Fnatic, they're definitely leaving this one late. They've still got smokes ready to be lobbed towards either of these bomb sites. But this is the thing, they're creeping in. They're actually walking around quad, and Forest finally is going to get a kill onto JW. He gets a double. He makes it a triple. And Crim surely will too hit the floor. He bites the dust here on Inferno. And Flusher, with 3 seconds to go, he might as well pull out and save this AK, to be honest. And there it is, 3-0.
It was too slow from Fnatic, and that was actually a surprise. It would be interesting to see. Yeah, it was. It really was Navi-esque. Yeah, it was incredibly slow stuff from them, and they didn't really, you know, I mean, I guess JW at the start, as I said, over towards Arch, tried to find some information over towards Alu there, but NiP were just not peaking. They were not making the mistakes. Fnatic tried to force the mistakes out of NiP, and the Ninjas held strong. Alu pushing aggressively down mid here, expecting, of course, that Fnatic will probably be on an eco, and that all-important rifle, which they were able to salvage, has already gone down here. 1 player left alive in the hands of Crim here will be the Deagle as he dispatches of Alu, but left in a 1 versus 3. He's not been able to get the bomb. That's stacked over towards Banana, as we can see, and still a flawless start here for NiP, 4-0.
Yep. No, they're just going to wait around this bomb, try and protect it, try and figure out where on earth Crims is going to be coming from. I'm sure it's only going to be a matter of time until he pops straight out of this smoke, or at least jumps on top of those hay barrels. He's going to get the headshot on to exist, though. But, yeah, Get Right and Freiburg just about have enough firepower to deal with him. And there we have it, 4-0.
Let's see what the money is like now for Fnatic. Flusher really not with too much in the bank. He has got a Tech 9 at the second, so 4 AK-47s elsewhere. And this has been a good start. And, I mean, Knight here, in your opinion, what do Fnatic need to do to change things up and get this all-important first round on the board for them?
I'd really like to see them up the tempo to start things off, really try and get this first gun round on the board, go aggressive towards Banana, don't allow Freiburg and Get Right to do what they're doing right now, which is pushing down. It's a lovely opening frag as Freiburg wipes out JW. Oh, Alu rather wipes out JW. And you see how tough this is for Fnatic to try and take control of Banana. Now that the smokes have been put down, they'll most likely have some Molotovs as well to utilize. No, they don't have Molotovs, but Freiburg has a secondary smoke to renew it. It's going to force Flusher to have to push through this, and Freiburg should be able to mow them down. He is the king of Banana, but he's not able to do it this time round. And Get Right, well, he's rotating in, but he's going to need backup ASAP.
Yeah, Get Right's the one to try and save the day. They're not going to check the corner, and they should be punished for it. Crims does respond, but this is still most definitely on for Fnatic. Not if Exist has got anything to do with it, though. He sprays down 2, and Flusher on 6 HP has got a lot of work to do. Alu gets his second, but this is the thing with Freiburg. Again, I'm not calling out bad play, but for a guy who has been named and dubbed the King of Banana, for him just to seem so cautious there in Banana, even though he pushed down, he saw 3 players push through and lost that gunfight when he really should have been able to just spray them down 1 by 1 almost. You know, I know it's a lot more difficult than that, but still, it's an interesting thing, once again, to keep tabs on.
Exist. It's nice to see from NiP. They're playing a dynamic defense, constantly changing things around to surprise this Fnatic side. This time round, not one, not two, but 3 players put over towards Banana. Freiburg gets the headshot, but Crims is going absolutely huge on Banana. Single-handedly taken control of this B bomb site. And Ninjas in Pyjamas, well, Forest and Alu, they're a man down, and they're most likely saying to each other, what on earth is going on? Alu evens it up at 2-all, and this round could go either way.
It really couldn't. Just look at how split up both teams are here. We've got one player over towards Boiler Room, which is Olaf Meister there. Now Pronact is going to back up with him, but it's advantage tees in my opinion here, because as we all know, with 2 bomb sites and 2 players left alive, you've got to split forces over there. So Forest, who played very well earlier on in this pit position, actually was in balcony when he picked up that triple spray down earlier. He's got to do the same kind of damage again. The flash will come through here as he picks up 1 kill. That's Olaf down for the count, but he's got to be very careful indeed. We know what Pronax can do, and Pronax will deal the damage there. 1 versus 1 now. Alu versus Pronax.
It's so tough. The defense was split up, and maybe, just maybe, Fnatic may get their first round on the board. It's Pronax versus Alu, and Alu will win it. 6-0 will be the score.
What
the hell was
that? That was absolutely nuts. I'm sure he was just as surprised that he hit that shot as we are, to be quite honest. Lovely work there, and NiP will secure another round on the board in a round really where they didn't deserve to win it after Crim's entry fragging over towards that B bomb site, but still NiP managed to take it. Fnatic now, obviously that lost round bonus certainly coming into play here. 5 AK-47 is the name of the game.
Hashtag NiP Magic, maybe? Get right in Freiburg, looking to hold off any infiltrators from Banana. But it's a very, very slow and methodical approach coming out from Fnatic. How many times have we seen Get Right put this smoke down and just sit on top of this, this trolley? He'll get to see the terrorists just before they pop out of it, but no, he is going to have to fall back, but at least he knows that there is Fnatic presence over on the Banana.
I think he'd be pretty surprised if there wasn't any presence over towards there, in all honesty. But yep, indeed, good information gained. Olaf Meister again in that typical position that we see him now doing, just looking over towards that apartment area, seeing what he can find, see if anybody could be pushing aggressively through. Down towards Boiler now, but no frags as of yet. Taking things slowly, and NiP once again will be happy with this. Fnatic took it way too slow earlier on. They will not be wanting to repeat that. Alu misses his shot though. Tagged down to 46 HP. He's really got to back off now, and Fnatic have got full control of Arch.
Get Right assassinates Olaf Meister, and the call has come in that Fnatic are heading towards the spawn. Alu, he missed a shot early on, but he's reaping the rewards now as he finally manages to pull things off. From Freiburg, he's got players coming left, right and centre from all angles. Mows one down, gets the double. Here's the final player coming from Banana as well. Flusher just about gets the better of him. But I think NiP just have enough petrol in the tank to at least prevent this bomb from getting planted.
There's only 6 seconds left on the clock, so yeah, it's not going to happen. Flusher will fall. And that was good work from Freiburg there. It was kind of a common position, really, to expect him to potentially be in towards that little tree area there right in the corner near CT spawn, but still, it caught off Fnatic off guard. He used it well. He wasn't able to pick up the last player, but he did the relevant damage and secured round number 7 here for NiP. And this is looking very, very good here for the Swedish side of NiP, of course, with the Finnish player of Alu in the roster as well. They're really shutting Fnatic down here, keeping those incredible players smart. And Alu going aggressive like that just, again, catches them off guard.
Well, let's not forget that this NiP side did beat Envious in Dubai on this very same map. And normally when you think about Envious and French CS, the first map that comes to mind is Inferno. Yeah. So they're definitely working that NiP magic here on Inferno right now up against their fellow Swedes. It's just a case of whether they can build on it and turn this 7 rounds that they've got on the board into maybe 10 or 11.
Yeah, Rutt's going to peek out. I don't think he expected Flusher there, but lands the quick headshot. JW, who was able to pick up that dropped AWP from Alu, has been able to return the frag though, but not very low indeed. Forest peeks out aggressively, and JW must have heard it. They're evened up the situation, but they certainly were not expecting Exist to be there. And Crims now finds himself the last player left alive. He swaps out the less powerful Galil for that important AK-47. He does have the bomb, and he does have time to work with, but still a lot of work to do.
Yeah, the defense has been split. It's really worrying for NiP if Freiburg does end up going down. That's a really nice smoke from Crims. It will go over towards the opposite bomb site, so Exist may very well sort of hear it come down, and he'll be calling it to Freiburg, but NiP, they'll be more than aware that it could have been a smoke coming over from Banana. And now Freiburg, just looking to hold this angle, knows that Crims is heading towards him. And the King of Banana is back, 8-0.
Yeah, really well played there. He didn't need to peek out. He had that utility of the flashbang to utilize, and he was able to do so. The clock was ticking once again there, so Flusher really needed to land that kill and instantly turn around and get the bomb down. Otherwise, it wouldn't have come to anything anyway. It wasn't to be the case. Still flawless so far from NiP. Fnatic yet to get around on the board here, Kyanite. They're going to have to, I mean, like, it's a force, but it is an eco because it's just pistols here. We've got 3 players with armor, a lot of great grenades as well. But if things go according to script, this should be, again, another round for NiP.
Let's wait and see whether Ninjas in Pyjamas will be able to make it 9-0. So far, I'm sort of seeing flashbacks to Cobblestone, except with the team switched around. NiP have looked really solid here on the CT side. Exist should be able to demolish JW, which he does in the upper apartments. With Flusher so low on HP and Pronax and Crimson no armor, I can only see one winner, but Pronax thinks otherwise. Forest knows that these Fnatic players are going to be galloping towards him. He's going to nail Crims in the face. So close to dropping Flusher as well. Oh my god, with the Tech 9! Straight onto Forest and Pronax too! And somehow Fnatic are on this A-bomb site, and Get Right has it all to do.
Oh, and he just missed the side of Flusher there, left on 12 HP, and this looks very good indeed for Fnatic, I have to say. Pronax has been able to pick up that M4, and how did NiP lose this round? Maybe a case of the Caster's Curse coming into play. He's going to spray down, but Pronax picks it up. A really nice round there, right when they didn't need it. And Flusher picking up that kill with 12 HP with the Tech 9, the headshot onto Forest there, over towards Arch. That was it. That was round 1 in my opinion for Fnatic. And this is the thing, they can do that. Even when they're down and out, you know, 8-0 down, back onto pistols, they can pull off rounds like that. And look what it's done to the economy of NiP. They are broken just off 1 round loss.
Most certainly are. And now the big bad weapons belong to Fnatic. Let's see what they can do with them. Get Right and Freiburg and Forest, of course, buying up the Zeuses. Meanwhile, Exist is playing up close and personal here in lower apps with that shotgun. Don't really expect much, but who knows? Maybe they can get the odd Zeus kill here or there, catch the Fnatic players off guard as they rush into one of these 2 bomb sites. Let's wait and see.
I should really know this, but how much does it reward you monetary-wise for a Zeus kill? Do you know that? I'm not too sure. I can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, my mind is eluding me. Apologies, ladies and gents, but we'll see. Forest actually picks up a kill there, and unfortunately, we miss it. Oh dear, I would have loved to have seen that, but still first kill of the round in favour of NiP with the Zeus.
I think Freiburg might be on the verge of getting one as well. Fnatic will be put on full tilt. Forest, he's picked up an AK-47 thanks to that Zeus. Crims chimes in onto Freiburg. And let's see where JW is going to be heading. Looking left, looking right, searching for Forest. He can almost smell him. That's how close they are to each other. But the bomb has been lost in upper apartments. Forest is going to make it a hat-trick of frags this round. And it almost seems like we're going to have to end up forgetting Fnatic's heroics of the last round.
Oh, Forest, lovely one-tap down to Flusher. Will he get the ace? Not if Crims has got anything to do with it. And we know what Crims can do here. He's already picked up the hat-trick in this round. And neither NiP players have got rifles to do anything with. But tagged low, Alu peeks out perfectly there. Such confidence. Well played by NiP, especially Forest with the quad. We are going to have a pause come into play here, so maybe a quick timeout to discuss some stuff here for Fnatic, as their money is not in a great situation. And that was a round that they really couldn't afford to lose there, Kyanite. Again, you know, they'd broken the economy of NiP, and just to allow Forest to pick up 4 frags like that, it's very demoralizing, and Fnatic maybe got a little complacent.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what Fnatic are going to actually opt to do here, because the money is pretty much spread out. Like, we've got Flusher on 5.9k, then again, we've got Crims and Pronax on just over 3k. Then you've got Olaf Meister, who's completely broke. So are they going to opt to eco this forthcoming round and buy into the next round, or are they going to try and force things up and see how Lady Luck is going to treat them? What do you think will be the better option?
It's a difficult one.
It's difficult.
It really is.
Because you feel like Fnatic basically they need more rounds on the board.
Yeah.
And even if they decided to eco this round and it went to 10-1, it would leave Fnatic under an immense amount of pressure to be able to win those last 3 rounds, or last 4 rounds, to at least walk into the second half with 5.
You just see the graphs coming up as we do have this pause in play. Hopefully it won't be too long before we are back live. I believe it's just a quick tactical one for
we all
Fnatic.
know what happens when Fnatic have a pause.
And yeah, that's exactly what my point was going to be, especially again on a map like Inferno. I believe they were 13-9 down against Virtus.pro on this map, and then I don't think they lost a round after that. And so you never quite know what Fnatic can do. And just because they are 9-1 down doesn't mean that they're going to do what NiP did on Cobblestone and just continue the bad form. Fnatic are very, very, very capable indeed of doing some damage here. And if they can pick up 4 more rounds or so and take this as a 10-5 half, in the grand scheme of things, they should be okay with that.
What do you want to see Fnatic try and do differently?
I'd like to see them change up the pace. I know that's a really like a generic thing to kind of say here, but if they can catch Freiburg off guard, who is at times potentially being a bit slower towards Banana there, and get good control of that area, I'd really like to see that, because I don't think, I'm trying to think if we've seen Fnatic plant on that B-bomb site yet. I don't think we have.
Well, this is interesting. I talk about a dynamic defense, and Alu this time round is being sent all the way towards the car at Banana to try and hold it with his AWP. They're heading straight towards him. It's in fact going to be Flusher to get the opener with the AWP. They know that Exist is hiding around the sandbags, but he's mowing them down. This is fantastic play from Exist. A massacre at the top of Banana, and Freiburg, he's playing Satan's role in life and wants to burn them to a crisp. And Pronax and JW, they've been forced to retreat.
I mean, the change of pace was great there from Fnatic again, picking up that first frag, Alu going down. The game was up for NiP after that, but Exist in such a perfect spot, and the flashbangs that came in to help him out were absolutely phenomenal there, and he sprayed them down. Then it looked like Fnatic were going to roll through anyway, even after taking Exist down, but Freiburg with the counter incendiary grenade shut that push down in quick fashion. Get Right found out Olaf Meister, who was lurking and pushing through Arch there, and now JW and Pronax, both with AWPs in hand, find themselves in a very tricky situation here. It's all gone very, very quiet indeed. They're just trying to find this opening, but it's going to be a difficult one.
JW looking for that opener with his AWP, and the funny thing is that Pronax too has an AWP, but they still want to go for this. They know how important this round could be, and they're anticipating that Freiburg could be hiding behind this fountain, but you can't help but fancy him given his current position. Pronax does get the kill, but even if he does plant, it's still a 2 versus 1, and my money's going straight on the Ninjas.
Oh, most certainly so. He's already picked up 2 in this round, though, so you never quite know what other damage he can deal. Very, very low indeed on the health points, and he's actually going to be able to take down Get Right there. Now this could be close. Forest knows his position though. Forest does have a kit, and he does have a flashbang to utilize, but still it will take one single click of the trigger from Pronax. It will not happen though. Forest lands his shot perfectly timed there. 10-1 will be the scoreline, and that was a great round. It really was.
Fnatic, they're crumbling.
Do you think?
Well,
I mean, the scoreline says it, but do you think...
Well, you think this is a good performance from Fnatic?
No, but I know, I'm trying to say mentally. Do you think they're crumbling under the pressure?
Well, they paused, and good old Pronax hasn't managed to fix it, and they have to force up again pretty much. So let's see what they're going to try and do. You said you wanted a change of tempo. They tried to do that straight towards Banana, but Exist was just far too powerful for them to resist. Alu looking to hold mid and Arch with the AWP, keeping his distance. Meanwhile, there's a lot of grenades, a lot of smokes on this Fnatic side, so we could very well see a good old set piece. But no, they're actually going to smoke quad and try and overpower Alu towards Archie. Gets the no-scope, but it's not going to be enough, and JW is going to pick up the AWP. Crims is going to manage to slay Exist. And Forest realizes they're going to be trying to wrap around, and he too is going to bite the dust. And Fnatic, you wanted them to up the tempo, and Chewy, they must have listened to you.
Yeah, they really did. And Alu not landing that first shot really was a nightmare for NiP. And then when the M4A4 sprays just absolutely failed for Exist and Forest, I do believe it was, that was round over. Fnatic simply winning the gunfights there. So Get Right is going to to try and escape with his life, but that will be the second round on the board here for Fnatic. A nice play from them. That was a round again that they really shouldn't have lost. NiP really should have been in the positions to mow them down one by one, especially Forest, who was still in the balcony area there in that advanced high position. Being able to see them push through from Arch and them not knowing that he was there originally, he really should have been able to pick up at least 1 or 2 frags. Wasn't able to do so. Alu did get that first play around the corner, but instantly got traded, and that's Fnatic's second round on the board.
I think what Fnatic did really well was they realised that Alu loves to play Arch by himself with an AWP, so they purposefully threw those quad smokes and the pot flashes to force Alu back and isolate him all alone, and then they just completely overpowered him with the Tech 9s that they had, and they picked up his AWP as well. So solid stuff from Fnatic, and NiP find themselves broke again, but Forest has pulled out the Zeus. Yes. Let's see whether he can work a bit of magic with it again.
This is the thing, though, again, as I say, it just takes one single round win for Fnatic to break the economy of NiP. So if they could continue on that and maybe force NiP onto a double eco, then this really could have gone back into their favour. But again, going back to that round with Forest, is he going to be able to get the Zeus? Yes, he does indeed. It's only 300 in the bank. There we go. I deliberately watched that to see how much money it landed in the CT economy, but he does get the Zeus kill.
Alu just hiding behind the truck with this Desert Eagle. JW's head pops out, and his head is no more, nor is Olaf Meister's. But Freiburg with this USPS, I'm not sure whether he's going to have enough artillery in his gloves to get a frag. He's picked up this M4A4, and he will have received the call from his teammates that Crims is going to be incredibly low on HP, but it's not going to matter in the end. Flusher with the headshot, and Fnatic, this is more like the Fnatic we're used to seeing, and they picked up that AWP as well, and they're going to give it to JW.
NiP economy still not the best here, and it looks like they're going to force up with FAMASs, so no diffuse kits whatsoever unless GetRight decides to choose and to pick one up. And I'd really like to see him do so here, in all honesty. He's not deciding to do so, going for more grenades. So what do you think about that decision? We know that he's gone for that P90 option, of course, but not a single diffuse kit on the CT team, and they did have the money for it.
Let's wait and see. Where has he taken the P90? At the moment, he's pretty much just sat towards Arch. We've got 3 NiP players looking to try and reimburse the Arch area with only Exist, I believe it is, playing either from pit or from apartments. So let's see whether Forest can find an opening. No movement yet from Fnatic. They've left 2 players towards the bottom of Banana to just make sure that they can force Freiburg back, take control of that area in case they want to go back there later on in the round. But at the moment, Bomb still towards second mid / the A bomb site.
And I think NiP realise how important this round is for their economy just for that final round. That being said, though, GetRight with that P90 will fall. Smoke grenade actually hits his teammate there, but actually I think it's giving them a bit of cover here. Forest, who's been playing this balcony position time and time again, is going to have a smoke grenade there to try and help him out, as Exist will chime in as well. That's the first kill for him in this round. 4 versus 4 situation. Fnatic still with 30 seconds to play with, but the bomb is making its way over towards B here. Freiburg at first, Oranges is going to peek out there, but he loses the gunfight to the M4 of Flusher, and that could potentially give the bomb plant here. Not if Exist has got anything to do with about it. The bomb will go down, but he picks up 2 very nice frags indeed, and it's all left up to JW.
Yeah, JW going in search of any diffusers going anywhere near that bomb, but it's irrelevant now. He has been killed by the Finn. The bomb will get defused, and Ninjas in Pyjamas here on the CT side of Inferno. 11 rounds. Who would have guessed it?
Very, very good play from them indeed, and Exist with that triple in that last round was absolutely crucial, and he's been doing really well. And again, it's those 2 players that we've kind of been seeing so far in this series, if NiP are playing well, standing out on the scoreboard for me. Forest and Alu, they've not really gone too crazy with the double AWP setup, which was what I was potentially expecting to see. Forest is more than happy with the M4 up towards that balcony area. Alu's been doing great damage with the AWP, and just look at the buy coming in here for Fnatic. This is the last round of the half, so they're getting everything that they possibly can do into their hands, but still only 3 pistols.
Last round it was 3 towards Arch early on. This time round it's 3 towards Quad early on. Now Exist is going to rotate back round towards Arch. Smoke's going down defensively to try and slow down any potential Fnatic pushes, and I appear to be more than aware that financial situation of their opponents won't be too healthy, but obviously, like you said, knowing this is the final round, they'll be expecting a lot of nades, maybe the odd Molotov here and there, but they're slowly creeping back down towards mid. bomb actually making its way towards Banana, so it seems like Freiburg and Get Right might have a bit of a rumble on their hands.
Still no frags though, 48 seconds left on the clock, time ticking on for Fnatic to do something. Olofmeister now lurking. He's going to push his way through Arch, but Alu peeks out just at the perfect second. Get Right's like, oh, hello, I did not expect you to be there as I'm reloading. And it's all left up to that man, Get Right now, who picks up one. And we are into a 3-on-2 here. They've got control of the bomb site, but in comes the quick rotation. They've got the weaponry advantage to the CTs. Even though this area has been smoked off, you would expect them to retake this. Not if Crims has got anything to do with it, though.
Here we go, Forest and Exist prepare to try and retake this bomb site. Crims is playing so up close with his AWP, and he will make it work. Forest, is he going to continue going for this? It's the last round of the half. Of course he is, but you just can't help but think there's not much he can do, even though he managed the headshot. 11-4. And if NiP can take their terrorist pistol,
yeah,
then we could be going to train.
And again, I'm not calling out bad play, but look who is the player who is the quietest for Fnatic. One of those players, again, any of these players can go big on the day, but to see Olofmeister with only 5 frags on Inferno is not something that you see every day, and it's not necessarily the key to this scoreline overall. That's not what I'm insinuating, but it's still just something to point out, and also to point out to see now how he picks it up on this CT side, because we see it done time and time again where he's a bit quiet and then suddenly the beast just awakens and Olofmeister arrives. So let's see if he can in fact do that.
Well, I put Fnatic down as my favourites to win this event. I think you did as well.
Yeah.
But at the moment, not looking very likely, especially if Exist continues to slaughter opponents like that. JW, just about gets revenge onto Freiburg. So close to making it a double, but Ali will not let that occur. Crims begins to rotate in, but it's still 4 versus 3.
And Get Right's got really good control of Apps here. I don't think he's spotted that play. Now he has. He's spotted the feet of Olofmeister coming through the stairs area here, so you can just see him peeking through. He's going to find the head of Olofmeister and secures another kill for him. Forest now takes down Flusher, and it's all left up to Crims, and it will not happen. 12-4. And I haven't been keeping exact tabs on this, and I really should. It'd be interesting to see if the analysts go into this and look into this. But how many pistol rounds have we seen NiP win to Fnatic? Because I'm pretty sure we've seen NiP, obviously barring that Cobble game, go considerably more in their favour on those pistols.
Well, it definitely does make your life a lot easier when you can win both pistols for obvious reasons. Essentially, in theory, if you manage to win those pistol rounds cleanly, and by cleanly I mean capitalise on the next 2, it's essentially giving yourself 6 free rounds. Or at least 4 free rounds, as overall 6, but you still work for the pistol round.
Yeah, of course. And look at what JW's picked up. We saw what damage he could deal with it on Cobblestone, and he's going to have to try and repeat the feat here on this now CT side for them of Inferno. But this being said, Ninjas in Pyjamas, they were 12-6 up on Mirage and then lost. Fnatic have got a harder task on their hands now with a 12-4 scoreline, but they can still do this one. NiP, that being said, though, find themselves in a position where they are simply 4 single rounds away from evening up the series, taking us to map number 5 and taking us to train.
Get Right with his favourite weapon in the game, the P90, of course. Preparing to try and unpeel this banana. Flusher ready with a nade, and that nade's going to deal a bit of damage onto Freiburg. As he prepares to push in with this MP7. He knows he's completely surrounded by CTs, but nonetheless, he's still going to drop Crims as he goes in search for more opponents to try and slay. Spots one behind him. Get Right comes in to save the day. And Pronax in a 1 versus 4. There's only going to be one winner, and they go by the name of Ninjas in Pyjamas.
Really nice stuff they did. And again, I just love, it's a little thing, but I love how you can see the little spark coming out of the Zeus there when you see it from a, another player's perspective. And I think, I can't remember who it was actually who was hiding behind new boxes there at the back of the B bomb site, but he certainly went for a Zeus indeed. So 13-4 is the scoreline here. Fnatic having to fully save here. We can see that the only things bought is 3 Zeuses, in fact. No grenades whatsoever, no upgraded pistols. So this should, according to the script, be round number 14 and a 10-round advantage on Inferno to NiP. Who saw that one? I don't think any of us did, in all honesty.
Well, I went for the cheeky mid, or peek towards mid. Spotted some of the NiP players running upwards, but it is going to be Get Right first. Pulls the trigger onto JW, gets the kill, and him and his teammates will try and sniff out a few more, but look at this position from Olofmeister with the Zeus. I mean, you were asking whether I could see it become sort of a weapon that these teams begin to utilize on a regular basis. Maybe so.
I think it already is, by the looks of things, and
has
how
a
many
role,
times.
and it's worth it for the price.
Exactly. $100 for a free kill, and and a $200 profit, maybe, or so. When you've not got any money to spend, you never know. And again, it's more of a factor of not really necessarily worrying about your economy, but more so humiliating the enemy team's economy if you can hit them at close range with that Zeus. But once again, a really good anti-eco for Ninjas in Pyjamas there. Only one player falling, which was Freiburg. So now we find ourselves in this 14-4 situation. Fnatic buying up once again here. 4M4 is the name of the game, and that Mag 7 once again now for JW. And what's interesting me here with Fnatic is that they are deciding to still use that M4A1. I know it's a little thing, but they've been pretty resilient with it, and they're just deciding, especially Crims with the M4A1, just deciding to use it time and time again. But, oh, hello, get right. Double with the P90, and that's the way to start off round number 19.
Yeah, it seemed like Pronax was, well, it seemed like he had other ideas up his sleeve, or maybe Flusher definitely does, lifting his mouse to absolute perfection, but can't get the frag. And the plant is going to come in on this bomb site, but they've got to be careful, especially Forest. He does not want to go down to the Mag 7 of JW, not going to occur. And Flusher, he might as well just pull out and try and save this M4A4 now. Yeah,
he's got to save this in this situation. He hasn't got a kit. He's not got tabs on all of the positions for these NiP players, I don't believe. And so the best he can hope for is a couple of exit frags. He may have the information that a few of these NiP players are low, one of them being Freiburg, who will fall there, but still, and not enough time left on the clock. And I'm liking this call from Forest here to actually push around over towards Arch. He may find the play just through the statue there, but Flusher will actually be able to pick up the kill. 15-4 will be the scoreline. Flusher actually does eventually eliminate all of the NiP players, but kinda, I don't think many, if any, at all people expected to see this scoreline. 15 for Ninjas in Pyjamas and 4 for Fnatic on Inferno.
Yeah, it's been disappointing, to say the least.
It has,
it's almost like Cobblestone switched around to an extent, but who knows? Who knows? Not even the magical Fnatic pause could save him.
And I mean, like, fair play, in all honesty, like, although it's been a shutout, fair play so far to NiP to do this. When their backs were against the wall, they're 2-1 down in the series, one map away from being eliminated from the tournament, and, and losing that extra guaranteed $20,000, if not 40. And then just to come out with a performance like this against Fnatic, who we know are good at this map, and to do it in this fashion is absolutely incredible, especially with everything that's going on recently. We know how hot they are in the press, Ninjas in Pyjamas, with the rumours and stuff going on. So for them to do this and to put up a good performance has certainly been impressive.
Smoke going down towards CT spawn from Freiburg, but JW, I'm seeing flashbacks to Cobblestone. He's managed to creep into Apps and he's got no resistance. Crims as well taking a leap out of his book with the Mag 7 over towards a B bomb site, but Get Right somehow opens things up onto JW as he dumps him down and continues to make his way towards upper Apps with that AK-47. The question is, are the rest of the Ninjas going to follow him? The bomb is going to get picked up, and it seems, Chewy, like it is heading towards the A-bomb site. Freiburg most likely just to try and fake a B push.
Get Right there with his second frag of the round. He is not very low indeed, but Exist will be the first casualty of that T-side now. And they've actually been able to find the bomb here, so maybe a lot of information could come from this overall. As look at the clean sweep there from Fnatic. Such a great hold, such great information there, and that's what they needed. But Kainai, I have to say, at 15-5 scoreline now, yes, it's Fnatic. Yes, they're the best team in the world. But plays like that now, in my opinion, are too little too late.
Never say never.
Never say never, I know. And as I say, I know it is Fnatic, but still, they've got a long, long road to climb.
If there's any team that can climb that road, it's definitely the lads in orange on your screens right now. JW put down 74 HP as Freiburg goes in search of a frag towards the top of Banana Forest. His position has been given away in the boiler room as he eagerly looks to try and get the all-important entry frag towards A, and it is going to actually occur. It's occurred towards Arch, and the rest of the Ninjas are going to be swarming into this A bomb site, but quickly shut down by JW.
Yeah, and again, that was the thing. They put their foot on the gas pedal and it didn't quite work in their favour. So really nice resilience once again from Fnatic, and just look at how low these players are. JW now causing significant damage to the Ninjas in Pyjamas team. And NiP, I'm pretty sure, when they lose this round, should be on an eco here. So Fnatic again just crawling up the ladder one bit by bit. It's a long climb, But as you say yourself, if there's any team who can do it, it's going to be Fnatic. 6-15 is the score. Still map point for NiP. Still on the verge of taking us to map number 5, which will be Train. Let's see if they can do so.
NiP, we've got a few Glocks in play, only 2 P250s, a Molotov in the hands of Exist, so maybe we might see them try and push towards the top of Banana and try and Molotov anyone on top of the B bomb site. But no, they're actually waiting at T steps, and well, they predicted that Fnatic are going to try and push them down mid. Exist surely gets what's only going to be a consolation. And look at how aggressive Fnatic have gone.
Again, very, very interesting play from them, and I mean, I'm liking it. You can see that they really are going for it aggressive even now, even halfway through this round as Exist will fall. Get Right tries to come around the side and deal some damage, but it won't happen. Forest goes for the cheeky Zeus. Again, it will not happen here. So 15-7 will be the score line. It'll be interesting to see if NiP will be able to buy here, or if they do, exactly, you know, whether they'll be able to go for 5 AK-47s with full utility and everything. How is it quite going to pan out for them? And the longer that Fnatic stay alive with a lot of players, you know, keeping alive at the end of the round, that's really important for their economy overall.
3 in a row for Fnatic, and they can't afford to lose any more rounds. Ninjas in pajamas. The bomb is going to be heading towards the A bomb site. Question in hand is, what are Fnatic going to try and do to change things around? JW's made his way over towards Quad. He's going to take a cheeky peek down mid and try to deal damage, but even though damage was dealt onto Freiburg, 54 HP is a plenty for a player of his caliber, and that is why he's going to get the frag onto Crims as he dispatches of him with ease. Olaf is forced to come back towards the B-bomb site, but still, Fnatic aren't 100% sure where their opponents are planning on going. That smoke will buy Olaf a bit of time. Yeah,
and when especially you've got a player like Forest now actually being the lurker over towards this apartment area, the man on your screens as well, he can certainly tap off a few heads and open things up on a bomb site. So now we see Fnatic going for that generic kind of 2-and-2 split. We've got what looks like, I believe, Flusher actually on the relative quick rotate, still staying towards CT spawn, but he can move back towards Catwalk if needed at any point. And Get Right's been able to push up, find the information that there are no Fnatic players near him, deciding to keep that P90 instead of swapping out for the M4. And this is what I said, Forest lurking over towards the A bomb site. He can knock off heads like that, and he's guaranteed that 2-man lead now.
Yeah, right. Going to get nailed in the face. And this is it. The call has come in. Guys, there's no way we're going to be able to make our way in towards B. Let's go towards A. But JW seems to have things on complete lockdown. Great play from the Wonder Child. Next up has Exist, and Alice trying to dispose with. But in the blink of an eye, they get 2 frags of their own. Olafmeister's going to be flanking from behind in a great position to capitalize. Pulls the trigger and gets the double spray down. Great awareness from him to push down Banana. Really, really, really quickly, and back the rest of his teammates up. JW deserves some credit as well for getting 2 kills with the AWP. And Ninjas in Pajamas, they only need 1 more round, but easier said than done.
This is looking a tiny bit scary in a way for NiP. Once again, their economy's broken, so we should see another 15-9 scoreline actually, and things slowly but surely coming back towards Fnatic. But still, even then, you know, when they have that 1 versus 2 situation, they simply forgot the bomb. Hello, Get Right. That was a lovely shot onto JW, saying you did enough damage to us in the last round. No more, good sir. And I'm liking the decision there. Simple thing from Flusher, just shooting the gun out the way so that no players coming up through mid can pick it up quickly.
Flusher spraying and praying. His prayers have been answered. Get Right is getting close as well with Exist, his left-hand man. And you can see how desperate Get Right is to pick up this weapon. Got a frag with the Deagle, dealt damage onto Olaf, just not enough, and Flusher will utilize that pop flash, and he's seeing where the Ninjas in Pajamas boys are actually heading. Freiburg, last man standing, and he's pretty much a dead man standing with 2 HP. The call will have come in due to death cam that he's headed towards CT spawn, but Fnatic have got to remain aware that he can do this and sneak through kitchen. Yeah, I think the most he can really hope for here is a bomb plant, but Olafmeister is certainly going to be the one looking to try and stop that in his tracks. He's picked up an M4 here, but Olafmeister still is going to be able to find a shoulder there and confirms round number 9 here for Fnatic. So the comeback still on Kyanite here. We've got a long way to go indeed, but if they can just keep controlling the economy and wear NiP down, we know what happens at times to the NiP mentality. And so they, as we said, they are most certainly not out of this game yet here. They've got little room to play with, Fnatic, but time and time again we've seen them play with that little amount of room and somehow expand it. Olaf going very, very aggressive down Banana. Not only does he get information, but he's in a prestige position to try and get anyone who pushes out of T-steps. The first person to do that's going to be Exist, but very unlike Olaf Meister to miss that shot, but he definitely makes up for it. Gets revenge, but the rest of the ninjas are heading towards him. Olaf Meister with his second. He sees that nade flying towards him. He knows that surely more must be coming.
Alu knocked very low indeed as well, 28 points of health, and as soon as I say that, the grenade will finish him off, and this is surely going to be another round here for Fnatic. They are awakening finally on Inferno from that 15-4 deficit. They've managed to win 6 rounds in a row here, unless the real hype duo of Forest and GetRight can somehow deal enough damage. I don't think it's going to happen. They're really not landing their shots whatsoever. And again, just to talk about, you know, elements such as economy, the more players that are staying alive for Fnatic in these rounds, the better their economy is going to be, just to be able to keep extending things and rebuying whenever needed for those few players who will fall. Only one falling this round. 15-10 it is. Are Fnatic delaying the inevitable, or is the comeback well and truly on?
I reckon it is.
So do I, actually. So do I.
Really?
I was debating it, and after the first few rounds, I wasn't going to. But now seeing them on double figures, it wouldn't surprise me if Fnatic somehow brought this to overtime. It really wouldn't. They've certainly got the skill and the class to be able to do so.
Tech 9 armor bite coming out from the ninjas, and maybe this change of tempo, this more penetration is exactly what they need. Forest has spotted one player towards the balcony area, but he's in fact can actually frag Olaf Meister so close to dropping Pronax as well, but the call is going to come in that he is bleeding internally. Alu will nail him in the face, but Flusher through the smoke sprays down all the ninjas in pajamas players on top of that bomb site, leaving Alu in a 1 versus 3.
I don't think he's going to be able to do much here, I'm afraid. They are swarming on top of him one by one. He gets the Tech 9 out and does eventually take down Flusher as revenge for those earlier crazy frags through the smoke, I do believe that was. But will it be any more than that? We will see. They're peeking in together here, and Crims will eventually dispatch of Alu. So now 15-11 the scoreline. Let's have a look at the NiP economy, see what they're going to be able to do. And now this is interesting. They're going for an AWP. Let's see if Alu can utilize that.
Where do you want to see him take it?
I'd either like to see him get, you know, control of Banana, or I'd like to see him just get that opening pick onto JW down mid and really take him down. But the thing is now, is once again, is Fnatic is switching it up, and this is what they can do. JW hasn't got the AWP, it's Olaf Meister.
Yeah, it's been Olaf Meister AWP in quite a few rounds,
yeah.
For example, when he took it towards Banana.
Exactly.
A lot of the time we've seen the ex-LGB duo in Crimson Olaf Meister just controlling that smaller B bomb site. Forest is going to be creeping in towards the apartments, but there is Olaf Meister with the opener onto Forest. Can't quite tell exactly where he is. No, he's playing from Apps, but he's got Pronax, his right-hand man, with the rifle. So if NiP end up actually pushing Apps, they could be walking straight into a death sentence. It's nice to see that they are falling back after losing that first man, trying to regroup.
JW pushing through the smoke there, and I'm not too sure why he managed to, well, what encouraged him to try and do that. That being said, he did lose the gunfight. Freiburg being taken very low, but still, man advantage. No, sorry, it's all even now, even, apologies. It's 4 versus 4, which does, you would think, favour the T side with those CTs having to split up, but Fnatic are so confident that this is going to be an A push, and I don't blame them, that they're still stacking 3 players over towards this larger bomb site.
This is intelligent play from Olaf Meister, great positioning. He should be able to, well, I was going to say he should be able to get that first frag. He's going to put the Molotov down, which should slow things down, but NiP put a smoke down. Olaf gets the frag. This is good stuff from Olaf Meister, more like what we're used to seeing from him and Fnatic, but Alu is still being let off his leash. Olaf peeks, Olaf gets the kill, and now Freiburg and GetRight trying to plant over on this B bomb site. He may very well be able to plant, but he's actually going to go for it, and they did line up for him, but he's going to plant instead.
Flusher.
Oh, ran out of time as well.
Ran out of time there. That was literally on the cusp of it there. Very unlucky indeed, but kind of, again, 15-12 is the scoreline. The economy for NiP is in a right old dire state, and look at GetRight's money. Dying after the round had finished there. His money is absolutely broken. NiP deciding to force this up with pistols, Tech 9s, armor buy here. And Fnatic, I mean, this is just absolutely phenomenal play. 8 rounds in a row now on their CT side. How NiP have not closed out this game is beyond me. And I was just about to mention that man, Olaf Meister. He's picked up his game and now utilising that AWP to its full ability.
Yeah, JW's picked one up as well. Olaf makes it a double. He was quality in the last round, and so far he's been quality this round. Flusher, all eyes on Arch. Meanwhile, the rest of the Ninjas in Pyjamas boys seem to be making their way towards apartments. Might see if they got any smokes. Yeah, there's one smoke. Forest has got a smoke as well. So Arch has been smoked, so they might very well try to breach quad and try to brute force a bomb plant down on towards the A bomb site. If they can kill Olafmeister, which they can.
After he picks up 3 frags, so enough damage dealt in the overall grand scheme of things, and the in-game leader of Pronax will finish off the final 2 there. 15-13 it is, ladies and gentlemen, and this is still very much game on indeed. It would be heartbreaking for Fnatic to lose this map after such a great comeback, but it just shows what sort of a team these guys are. The fact that even at 15-4 down, they do not give up.
This is it. If Fnatic win this round, then surely Ninjas in Pyjamas will be going into the final round of this map with not a healthy financial state. Olafmeister going aggressive with this AWP. He's literally just waiting to see a glimpse of somebody. The Molotov is going to hit him in the face. And oh my god, the flashes are going to be coming over. Freiburg is going to lead the charge as he looks to try and open things up on this banana. Knows that Olafmeister is completely trapped behind the sandbags. But Olaf and Crims come in. They get a kill apiece. And Ninjas in Pyjamas, they're being executed here on Banana.
I have absolutely no idea what is going on, but again, Olafmeister just comes in big. It was 2 frags, but it was 2 very important frags indeed. That really should have been NiP's to take. Get right will fall. 15-14. We are going into round number 30. And how has this happened? 10 rounds in a row for Fnatic. The NiP economy is not great. They will be able to buy up here, but Fnatic are just all over this. And I actually am gobsmacked. I really am. I didn't see it happening like this. I really didn't, but credit to Fnatic for this.
Good thing, though, for Ninjas in Pyjamas is they still just about have enough to make something happen, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but is it going to be enough? Losing 10 rounds in a row like this when they were 15-4 up, do they deserve to win this map? You've got to question it. After their performance at the start of it, I think so. But after this, with Fnatic coming back in this fashion, this game, for me, should be going to overtime.
Freiburg being forced back down away from Banana. Forest just toying around in apps. And at the moment, Ninjas in Pyjamas just trying to unpuzzle their opponents, figure out how exactly they're setting up and try to deduce how they'll be able to unlock it. Flush is playing this great angle, playing very passive from Arch. He should be able to catch any terrorists making their way in, but oh no, he actually crouched and he got fragged by Alu. Forest is also going to get a headshot onto Pronax, and the Ninjas have left it late, but they very well may win this. It's 3 versus 2, and Crimson Olafmeister surely need a miracle now.
That grenade, I swear it landed at Forest's feet, but it only dealt 7 points of health damage to him. That's all it did, and now this is tricky. But look at how low 2 of these NiP players are. This is going to be the key. Crims is going to spot out exist there, evening up the situation. The clock is ticking, but they have the kit, and they have plenty of time to deal the damage. Freiburg with the Galil in hand. He's got to do something, and he doesn't, and that could be it. It will be it. We are going to overtime, and how did NiP let that up? The 2 players low didn't even deal any damage whatsoever. What a retake from Crimson Olafmeister. And from 15-4 up, NiP choke. We are going to overtime once again for the 2nd time in this series.
Well, Ninjas in Pyjamas won overtime last time around. My money's going on Fnatic. With the amount of momentum that they've built up after that monumental comeback.
I agree.
And, you know, we were talking about the pause.
Yeah. It didn't quite happen at the time. It was a delayed response.
It was just Pronax messing with our heads.
I mean, and again, just look at, again, I know I keep talking about frag count, and it's not the most important thing, but Olafmeister, at around about that 15-4 scoreline, was only on 7 frags, around about that mark, really definitely in single figures. And now look at him, 24 to 23 frags on the name. Flusher, once again, the standout player on the scoreboard with frags, almost a 30 bomb just in normal time. And I think the teams just need a split second here just to regain their composure before we go into what will be the 2nd overtime of this series. But I have to say, I've got to agree. I think Fnatic are going to take overtime.
NiP as well, starting on the terrorist side, of course, in this overtime. Not going to make their life much easier. MR3, 10k cash on each side. And I really love this format more than the old MR5 16k format, because it causes it forces players to have to really manage their economy a lot better. But Alu gets the opener onto Olaf Meister. Olaf, who was so instrumental towards the end of normal time for Fnatic, has been assassinated. And the bomb here is at the top of Banana. So let's see where NiP are going to be heading. Forrest has got to be careful that JW doesn't kill him with that Mag 7, and he will do.
Again, with the Mag 7, it's just the gun of choice for JW. I'm pretty sure he's probably got more kills with it than he has with an AWP, which is not exactly a common thing. That being said, he has still been very, very good with the AWP, and he's actually switching out between the two. Just, you can see him doing so. Anyway, all the action's going in towards B. Crimson in a cheeky spot that we saw Get Right playing in earlier on. Will get one. Flusher gets two of his own here to confirm the 30 bomb, and Get Right now with the Pro 90 in hand. 1 versus 4 situation here. It's going to be another round on the board here for Fnatic. And I'm trying to count up how many that is in a row. I think that's 12 rounds in a row we've seen from Fnatic now on this CT side.
There it is, 16-15. I don't know about you, but I can't believe what I'm witnessing. This is why people say Fnatic are the best team in the world. They just never say never. They didn't even let their heads drop. No. And they continue. They took every round as it came. And now they've somehow, after being 15-4 down, are 16-15 up.
It's a lesson to everybody, you know, who's aspiring to be a professional player. This is the kind of thing you aim for. To be 15-4 down, a lot of even professional players will drop their heads, but Fnatic just simply did not do so, as we can see just from the scoreline. The way that they've played has been phenomenal here. And if, you know, Richard's prediction that this is, potentially the last tournament that we see NiP at, with this roster anyway, it would be a great shame for them to go out in this fashion on this map.
They definitely go out in style and Get Right. He doesn't want to go out just yet. He wants to win Inferno. Jumps straight down into the pit, and I don't think Pronax even realizes he's there, and he is going to get the kill. Flusher playing right on top of this A-bomb site. His role is going to be massive if Fnatic are to win this round, but the old Fnatic and SK duo in Get Right and Forest chime in to get a frag apiece, and Crims now, not much he can do in this situation.
No, most certainly not. Just going to salvage that M4 and keep it in hand, of course, because with this being the format that it is in overtime, we've only got one more round left in this half before the sides do switch. Crims is going to be able to take down Freiburg there, losing that gunfight. Knock low onto 12 HP. They know exactly where he is, and they will go hunting for him here by the looks of things. So he's actually having to use that utility to prevent the hunt coming his way, the swarm of these NiP players. But we're all evened up once again here. Knight, 19 is the magical number that we're aiming for.
Credit where it's due to Crims, managing at least 2 frags. And here we go, last round of the first half. I do feel like Fnatic really do need to win this one. You know, going into their second half here in overtime, MR3, you want to at least go into that second half into the more difficult T side. 2-1 up, and we know how much Fnatic struggled when they were on the terrorist side, so I don't really feel like they can afford to lose this round.
Into that last round of the first half that we talked about. A little pop flash there from Olaf Meister just to ward any advancing terrorists off, but they've got that advanced smoke grenade down there. It looks like Forrest is going to peek out aggressively, does take down JW, but Flusher instantly responds to even things out now into that 4 versus 4, but Fnatic are taking a lead out of NiP's book. They're pushing aggressively down Banana here, and they've got that advanced smoke down, completely shutting the ninjas out of that section of the map.
Yeah, what it's done is it's allowed an extra Fnatic player to rotate over towards the A-bomb site.
Yeah.
Flusher and Pronax patrolling the A-bomb site, but so is Alu. Crims just playing sneaky beaky within the smoke, and the second it disappears, NiP won't be ninjas anymore. They'll probably find themselves in a lot of trouble, but Freiburg, he's caught on here.
Still got time to work with, but as I keep saying, I know that clock is ticking, so they've got to move, and they've got to move soon. In comes the flash. Crims fully flashed. Freiburg isn't going to check behind him, though, and that is a big mistake indeed, Freiburg, not to check your corners, because that really could have lost you the round. Exist also falls to the hands of Crims with that M4A1 in hand, and a lot of work to do. Get Right looks like he could come in to try and save the day here, as does Alu as well, but we're back into a 1 versus 1.
10 seconds to go. Crims knows that this final NiP player had no choice, and Crims really gave him no choice. Alu so low on HP, and Crims showing us what he's really capable of. Fantastic shot. And 2-1 heading into the second half.
Why Freiburg didn't check that corner? Didn't check Cubby. Like, it wasn't because he was flashed. Like, you could tell that he wasn't flashed. He just peeked round the corner and just didn't check to his left.
It goes to show that he's human as well.
Yeah, most certainly so. Well, here we go. Fnatic with that advantage now. Again, as I've said, that magical number they're looking for is number 19 here. So they only need 2 more. They need 1 more to guarantee at least overtime number 2. But what a map this has been. Really great play from these two teams.
Bell being run by the NiP side. Maybe that's a sign that we almost are over and done with this game. Crim's just toying with that AK-47 towards you. Perhaps area exists. The man patrolling the CT side of apps with his right-hand man in Forest, just hiding behind the truck. All eyes on quad to make sure no one can creep through boiler room towards this larger bomb site or through mid. Here we go. Fnatic leaving 1 person at the bottom of Banana, 1 person T-steps. It'll be interesting to see how this round unfolds.
Yeah, it certainly will do.
They're just trying to feel things out, figure out how NiP are currently set up. If they realise that Alu's isolated again on Arch, they might smoke quad and try maybe even go CT spawn to B, or at least try and wrap around this A-bomb site.
But actually, this is what NiP did really well, in my opinion, on their CT side, is just playing that patient game. We can see the really tight angle that Alu is currently holding over towards Arch here, but NiP once again are just waiting for those angry Swedes in Fnatic to come into their crosshairs. Backing off now. He doesn't want to get caught out like he did once or twice earlier on in that advanced Arts position. Going to back away over towards Library, but with 25 seconds left on the clock. We've seen this once before, and we're going to see it again. A late A push coming in from Fnatic, with Forest potentially cleaning up the whole lot. They have been able to get the bomb down here, but in a 5 versus 2, I don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately, for Fnatic there. They will fall. And again, that's exactly actually what we saw happen earlier on, pretty much. A similar situation, Fnatic leaving it very, very, very last minute.
Freiburg, still 13 frags. JW, only 17 frags. Quite unlike both of them, I guess.
Yeah.
But I guess it doesn't really matter when you've got players of Forest and Alu and Get Right's caliber who can step it up and pretty much 30 bomb. Alu just needs 2 more frags, and he's going to have 30 frags to his name as well. So frags being shared between all these different players and Fnatic. Are they going to try and up the tempo? But no, NiP go for the double nade, and Olaf Meister is blown to smithereens. Fnatic, so early on in this second round of the second half of overtime, find themselves a man down. Is so difficult when you find yourself in this kind of scenario. Not much you can do.
Yeah. They've got plenty of time to work with, though. But if it plays out how it did in that last round, we will find Ninjas in Pyjamas once again on map point. I dread to think how many map points they had earlier on. As I said, it was that 15-4 scoreline, and they weren't able to convert it. So even if NiP do win this round, Fnatic will certainly come out fighting in the last round of this first overtime. But in they go, they're going to flash their way through. Exist is going to be able to take down 1, though. Exist with 2. Flusher eventually responds, but now left in that 4 versus 2 situation. This is very, very tricky indeed for Fnatic. They're split up. All the players are rotating through. Alu is still alive with that crucial AWP, and it will once again be map point for Ninjas in Pyjamas. Will we be going to train, or will we be going to overtime number 2? Let's find out.
Let's find out. AK's being brought out by Flusher, Pronax and Crims. Olaf with his world-famous Tech 9, where, of course, at ESL 1 Katowice, 50% of his frags were with that pistol. And JW with his side-AWP, as we used to call it before the nerf, his CZ75. But anyways, Fnatic start to catapult themselves towards the top of Banana, but I'll tell you what, it's going to be Freiburg chucking a heck of a load of nades towards them, and they haven't even realized that Get Right is hiding in this corner. Fnatic 1 man down already, Chewy, and it just seems like they're walking into a black hole at the moment. NiP, they've shown no flesh.
And that's exactly what they need to do in this situation, to be quite honest. That's what they want. They just want, as I've kept saying time and time again, just the players to appear in their crosshairs here, to wait down the time, to use the utility at the correct moments here. They've still got a smoke grenade just about to pop down there, which was coming in from Arch, I do believe that was, over towards that Banana area. They've got a big read on this to NiP, and they've got those incendiaries to work with as well. So they're just shutting the time down here for Fnatic, giving them less and less room to work with.
Sure, NiP maybe gone aggressive towards the A-bomb site. They've figured out exactly what's going to happen. JW has somehow managed to breach this B bomb site, but not fully. And that clock is ticking, 25 and counting. And if Fnatic are going to get this bomb down, they need to get this bomb down now.
19 seconds, the clock is ticking. Pronax starts things off, but Freiburg comes alive on the B bomb site as it's all left up to the wonder child in JW. It will not happen, and finally NiP take the map, 19-17. What an absolute thriller. Oh my gosh, that was probably the craziest map I think I've ever seen. Or certainly ever casted.
I mean, people say NiP are dead.
They're not dead yet, they're still in it, they're still fighting.
They beat Envious on Inferno. They just beat Fnatic on Inferno. They beat Fnatic on Dust 2 early on. They beat Envious on Dust 2.
Yeah.
You can't help but think that there's still some sort of firepower still left in them.
Well, I hope so, because we've got Train coming up next, the 5th and final map in this series, and let's hope it continues on this form. And it looked like it was going to be a shot. Let's just, again, recap that, because it was a dominating, I think it was an 11-4 half for NiP to start things off, and they looked really strong, and we, you know, were like, what is going on? I think it was a 9-0 start that they started on, like, okay, Fnatic are a bit slow here. And then to move it to 15-4, you know, I was already thinking about, you know, where I was going to get my next drink from, because, you know, and stuff like that. You think map's over. But Fnatic with that comeback, I mean, what happened? Just
well, it's Fnatic. The pause came in, and then we speak about NiP magic. Fnatic have a bit of magic of their own. But anyways, guys, we are going to go to a quick break, and we'll be back with Train, which will be the 5th of this best of 5. Don't go anywhere.
Check this out.
What's up? We're playing Sideman Gungo football. Are you ready for this? Because I know I am. So let's go.
Jack, I want you to draw me like one of your French girls.
NiP